She told us she wanted to check the house at midnight because her flight was 200,000 dong cheaper. She expected to stay the night with us in the house and then wake up to check out the house in the morning. Like, she was such a, seriously, cleaning the mattresses and curtains, which she never mentioned any of this on the contract. We'll give you 5. And she was, no, I want 10. And then after she went up to 20 mil. And my husband was so furious. I knew it might get messy. We even called a realtor to help. When she heard the situation, her exact words were, I never heard of anything like this before. It became clear it wasn't about cleanliness or repairs. It was just about trying to keep our deposit. So have you ever handed over like a massive deposit like $2,000 and wonder if you'll ever see it again? By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what not to do when dealing with landlords abroad, especially in Vietnam, and the red flags we missed that almost cost us thousands. And stick around because I'm going to share the one thing our realtor said that completely shocked us. So if you're living abroad and moving into a rental or starting fresh in a new country, this is one story you need to hear. Today, I'm breaking down our real life experience of what happened when we moved out of our rental in Vietnam. From like awkward encounters to a nearly lost deposit. This is about what to expect and how to protect yourself when renting overseas. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's the story. When we moved in last year around this time, yeah, it's been a year. That's why we're out since yesterday. As you can see, I'm at a hotel right now. We're in between homes because we had to leave our home and now we're waiting to get into our new home. But yes, back to the story. We paid our landlord about 40 million dong deposit, which is about, I believe it's like about 2,200 in Canadian. From that day, things got weird and I could tell that she was not a very good landlord. Apparently she has multiple homes, and which is so annoying to know because I don't know if other people went through what we went through. But anyways, we signed the lease and we were like ready to settle in. But instead of her leaving, our landlord just stayed at our house because she said her flight was until later. So she sat in our house for the entire day, which was so annoying because we were so tired and we just wanted to set up and eat and just get comfortable. And so later on that day when we moved in, obviously we had no groceries or anything. So we said we had to leave to get some food and she said she would just stay there and lock up, which was like weird. It's like, why are we leaving our house? And you're like, I know you're the landlord, but you don't stay. It's our house now. But anyways, we came back and she was like still there. It's like, when are you leaving? It's not until like we fell asleep they left. Oh yeah, let me tell you, the house was brand new, but everything she put in the house when we first got in was old and broken already. We had to take pictures to make sure that she wasn't going to force us to pay for it. And everything that we used just like broke down, like the closet that she built in there. Like they were so ghetto. It was hard to push it in and out. Like, I don't understand. Like, it was such a beautiful home and she put cheap things in there that could break down. And I knew she was going to point at everything. And that's why I told my husband throughout the year that if something breaks because it was just old and not built correct, he had to let her know so she's not going to force us to pay, because that's what she was doing when she came back. She was like, oh, this is broken. It's like it was already broken when we got here and we have it, like we have pictures. So she couldn't come back at us about those things. But anyways, fast forward to moving out day, which was yesterday for me. She told us she wanted to check the house at midnight on Tuesday, and because her flight was like 200,000 dong cheaper, and which is, I don't know, 200 dong, I believe that's $10 to $15 Canadian, which was like crazy. She expected to stay the night with us in the house and then wake up to check out the house in the morning. We're like, okay, I don't think so. My husband shut that idea down quickly and said, just come the next day. And she was not happy with what my husband said to her. But anyways, when she finally came to inspect the place, she was pointing at every little thing. Where's the rice cooker? We like never used it, so we put it away and we had to go grab it from the top drawer. She just nitpicked at everything. And then while we're sitting there, I thought this process was going to be fast, but she's waiting for people to come here to check things before I give you your deposit. I was like, what the? Like, how long is this going to be? So anyways, we were just waiting for the deposit and she just told us to wait. And basically we waited for an hour. And after I asked my husband, I'm like, what does she want? Like, why do we have to stay all day here to figure out what she wants from us? Anyways, I called one of my like friends around here, and he basically said, give her what she wants. If she wants 5 million, then just give it to her. If she's nitpicking at everything. She was saying something about the walls, that there was like marks, which over time there are marks on the wall because the walls are like concrete. So like when anything hits it, it's like a smudge, and it has like a dirt smudge, which is understandable. Like I recorded the whole thing. So you guys look at what you guys think how the house looks like. I'll give you guys a run through. But yes, it was just such a horrible experience. So after an hour talking to my friend, he said basically she has our deposit and she doesn't have to give it to us. There's no one really that can regulate this, apparently. And I thought the cops would be able, but everyone keeps saying they can't, or there's no one that you can actually reach out to figure this out. The only thing my friend said is call the realtor because she's the one who dealt with both of us and she can talk to her. So we called the realtor and we explained what happened, and she was like weirded out. Oh, that shouldn't happen. She told us it is not normal for landlords to expect us to clean curtains and nitpick at tiny things unless it was damaged, which nothing was damaged. It became clear it wasn't about cleanliness or repairs. It was just about trying to keep our deposit. Anyways, I told my husband to talk to the landlord. It's like, okay, we'll give you 5 mil to clean up everything. There's nothing really broken. It just needs to be more like deep cleaned, I guess, because we lived in it and there's those little marks on the wall. My husband told her like, we'll give you 5 million. I think that's enough to clean all the things that you want and paint the house or clean the walls or whatever. And then after she was like, no, I want 10 mil. And then after, she started naming other things that she wanted it done. Like she wanted to pay for cleaning the mattresses and the curtains, which she never mentioned any of this on the contract, which we didn't have the contract on hand, which my husband told me, you got to go there and take a picture of it and I can prove it to her. And she was picking that, why isn't there all the bedding on the bed? Which we only got 2 sets of bedding, which they were there, and she forgot the other 2. She never gave it to us. We had to buy our own. And she was just nitpicking, but we had all that on contract that we wrote down, what was there and what wasn't there. So you got to really be careful when you get into the new home. The tip is to record everything so you know exactly what they had there, so you can look back at it and tell them what was there and what it was not and what was broken already. Back to what my husband was saying, when he went to her and said, okay, we'll give you 5, and she was, no, I want 10. And then after, she went up to 20 mil. And my husband was so furious, and he just told me like, you gotta leave. I don't want my kids to be here while this is happening. So I left and went to dig up our contract. I took a picture, and my husband was there waiting for the realtor to come in to talk to her. And I guess throughout the process, the realtor was saying this usually doesn't happen. These are just wear and tear on the walls. That usually happens, but usually it doesn't come out of the deposit. That's just something that you have to deal with after. It's just no. I saw her how she was talking to my husband more. She basically was just saying, no, I want this and this. Like, she was such a, like, seriously. But when you start being, I can't deal with you. Like, I'll get really, yeah. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that. I'm usually like, okay, it was reasonable. Look at both scenarios. But here, I already knew from the start that she was going to do this. Now we need to cover how it all ended. But before we dive into that, I need you to hit that subscribe button if you're thinking about moving abroad or renting overseas, because I'll share the real story that helps you avoid costly mistakes. So at this point, we were nervous. We had recorded everything, took photos and videos of the condition of the house before we left. Because I knew it might get messy, I just needed proof. And thank God I did. So here's what I want you to take away from this. If you're renting in a new country, especially with large deposits, always document everything. Be cautious of landlords who linger around after the lease is signed, and try to move the goalposts at the end of your lease. Seems more focused on nitpicking than actual damage. And know this, just because you're paying more monthly doesn't mean your deposit is safe. Some landlords expect to keep it. So another way to look at things is, if you know you're gonna give them a big deposit, know that you might not get half of it or at all, and think that was your rental price. That's how my husband told me. Think of it as your rental price, that you're not gonna get it back, and that instead of the rental being 20 million a month, it was like 21 or 22 million a month. That's how how you have to think about it. But yeah, we gave her like 40 million, which is a lot in Vietnamese dong. And yeah, so apparently this landlord owns multiple properties. So if you're house hunting in Vietnam, please DM me or drop a comment below. I'll share the exact areas that she owns homes and what to look out for, or just actually join my community where you can talk to me one-on-one and I can let you know who this landlord is and not to go there, because you don't want to go through what I did. And she was such a seriously. Don't get me wrong, there are still really good landlords here. It just really depends on who you get. But when you do get a bad landlord, I swear, like, our community needs to talk and let other people know to not rent, not to go to them, because it's not worth it unless you don't mind knowing that you're not going to get your deposit back. Yes, we got to just look at it in a different perspective. It's not like I'm trying to bash all the landlords here. I hope Vietnam puts some laws in, because in Canada, the tenant actually has the more right versus the landlords. And I guess it's vice versa here. The landlords have the more right with the laws and all that. Oh yeah, and here's another thing. When you move into a home, they're supposed to register you every time your visa ends, and our landlord never did that for us. We had to pay a penalty because we didn't renew that we were living in that house. And apparently landlords are supposed to do that, and they're supposed to get your passports and register you, which our new landlord that we went to, she asked for that at the beginning, so she's gonna deal with that. But apparently when we were like 7-8 months in, we were like 2 months late. No one registered us and we got in trouble and we had to pay a penalty, and she wasn't willing to pay the penalty. She was like, it's your responsibility. But really, I'm not sure whose responsibility it is, but most people know that landlords should deal with it because they know a little bit more. They live here. They should at least inform us to register ourselves. And she never did that, and we had to pay for it. And she didn't care. She basically said she didn't care if we move out because she has 2 months of deposit of ours. So she doesn't care if we had to pay the cops and if we move out. Our realtor told her, like, they're not too happy. They might want to move out if you do this, if you're not going to fix this. And she's like, I don't care because I have the 2 months deposit. She didn't even inform us that we need to do that. And when we got a letter, we actually talked to our realtor and she helped us through the process. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you love this video, you should check out more of my Vietnam playlists where I share lots of things about Vietnam. Join my free community, Abundant Aesthetic Living Collective, your go-to place for expat living guides, travel tips, and community chats to help you create an abundant life abroad. So let's grow, glow, and flourish together.